You hear the words like planning, preparing, prepping, and that can all be a little bit overwhelming. Today I want to break it down into some simple ways to think about it. Well, kind of simple, because there's a lot going on and it's hard to know which direction to point yourself in. So I'm going to give you a simple summary, how I kind of think about things, see if that helps. And first, but before we do that, I'm going to take a deep breath, hold it for 4 and exhale, or you can sleep like Lilith back here. See you on the other side. So one of the struggles that I have of many is how to organize my day or how to organize my future. And I spend a lot of time thinking about things, trying to be as effective as I can in moving forward. Because as I've shared multiple times, I get a lot of limitations that I have to work with, like the weather, the space, trash. That's my newest thing. I don't have anywhere to put my trash. It's a long story. But I also have been thinking about bigger picture stuff. And, when we hear the word prepping, a lot of people tune out or kind of get defensive because it has the connotation of sort of defending in place, hunkering down, preparing for the worst. And it's difficult to know. As an FYI, prepping is much easier in keyword searches than prepare, which is one of the reasons why I think people use it. But there's also the planning component to it. And the real question is, what can you actually prepare for? So I'm going to break it down into just a couple things. The first thing I want to talk about is planning and preparing in terms of time. There's what's happening now. There's a transition period, and then there's the end result. For example, the horse trailer conversion. There's now, which is what I can do now. There's the transition, the process of restoring it, and the end result, living in it. And that began for me it was about a year ago this time. So I was thinking about it, visualizing what I wanted, looking on Craigslist, doing that mental preparation, and then lo and behold, I'm driving down my main street. I look over and there is the trailer, which just happened to be the one that I actually wanted. So those are sort of the 3 stages where I think about that a lot in terms of what's happening in our world. We're in such a huge transition phase. It's hard to know what future to plan for, whether it's around getting older, whether it's about an end of the world type event, whether it's about a health issue, whether it's about money. It's very difficult to see what the long-term picture is going to look like right now. So breaking it down, there's now, there's what you need to do in this transition period, and the transition period requires us to stay flexible. And then there's what we hope to get at the end, which may be just the start of a new beginning. We just never know. So that's kind of one category. The second is the more who knows what's going to happen in the end of the world here. And that is, for me, I simply break it out into the world with electricity and the world without electricity. Because if we have electricity, it doesn't matter what happens, we'll still be able to cope and manage in a way much more similar to our life experience right now. If we don't have electricity, all bets are off. It's going to be an entirely different world. If you want to get a sense of that, you can look at what's happening down in Puerto Rico. But you have to remember, now when people go without electricity, there's still functional places to support that. The kind of event that you really need to think about is like zero electricity for a long period of time, where life is just very different. So those are really the 2 big time scenarios that I factor into both my short and long term planning in terms of preparing. The third thing that I'm laughing. The third thing I like to break it down into is, what do you do every day? Because our life is really lived in a 24-hour period, and what we do in that 24 hours every day really creates our life. And the truth is most of us have very little spare time to bring in something new. And I'm laughing because this is like an almost everyday thing, right? When you water plants, you have to take care of it. This is cat grass that I grow for the kitty so she can get some fresh grass, as opposed to the poison plant that she prefers outside. But there's certain things that require every day. The dog is every day, the cat is every day, sleeping is every day, eating is every day, personal care needs is every day, working is every day. So stuff gets, every day gets filled up very quickly. But I also have really come to believe that what we do every day needs to get factored into these bigger future plans, like how we build our communities, how we build our cities, what's of value to us. And that's why I break it out into food, shelter, health, and community, because food, health, and shelter are things that we do every single day, and those really need to be the three basics of building community. Oftentimes we focus on ideas and wouldn't that be cool and wow, this is really smart, but we forget that food, shelter, and health, which everything pretty much goes under that, transportation, those kinds of things, that is part of our 24-hour day, and that needs to be our priority in terms of our personal life, but also how we build out bigger communities in the future. So I just wanted to offer that up as three different ways I think about things. One, now, the transition and the future, electricity, no electricity, and the last one, what do you need within a 24-hour period, and how much extra time do you really have? And the best way to create change is just to add one thing at a time that's new, but often that requires you to take out something. So that's just a simple way to think about it. Again, I've got the 3 books I've written that help guide you through that process, whether it's aging in your post-50 life, whether it's walk away, which is just the simplicity, or if we really go into hardcore refugee status. And the last one, the survival solution, I need to change the graphics and stuff on that to really represent, that's really about the basis of personal values, but also building community. So the books are how I'm supporting all this. I really appreciate those of you who purchase them. It makes all this possible. And with that, we're going to say goodbye. I have to decide to do with my whole plan here. As I ask you and hope that you will take one more deep breath for the road as you rise with the sun in your eyes, love in your heart, feet firmly on the ground as together we walk on Survival Road. Live free, die wild, my friend, and we'll see you next time.
You could aim for perfection.